Alright, we're going on. It's been a long day. We are going to now go into the law or the next point. We just discussed what Bible literature is, mind the language, the art of black magic. This is a dead man's tale, and I'm trying to tell you about how I became what I became and why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the background. Alright, apologies for that. We are doing extract the principle. One of the most important functions of the grooves in terms of black magic, the male function is being able to extract principle from life events. And here we got the Bible. Bible is a life event, and in the context of African spirituality, it's what we call an omen. Why is it an omen? There's three levels of spirituality, or three levels of spirituality. Basically dream life, visions, and omens. So what you pay attention to, I want to just point out, is that in African spirituality, when you zoom, you can have a dream, and what you see in a dream, people are inspired. So if I see in a dream that I'm wearing a certain bangle, I will create the omen. There's a process, there's the reason why I create the omen. So if I'm wearing a bangle here, I will do it in real life. Right? Because I was told by my ancestors in the dream that that's what I must do. I will go and create the omen. So an omen is the highest level of spirituality, because that's what we call the spiritual principle. Right. So the Bible is a spiritual principle. Why is it an omen? Because over more than 2,000 years, right, it's been preserved, number one, and translated, and is probably the most widely read book. The Bible. Right, that is an omen. That is something that's happened that everyone can see. So when I'm going to put it this way, levels of dream life, this is personal. Yeah? This is also personal, but maybe other people can witness. Right? And this is public. Right? So a person can have a personal dream, that's fine, that's your personal thing. But the Bible is like a public dream. So why I'm pointing this out is to say, and I want to just clarify what a vision is. A vision is when I see something while I'm awake. I'm conscious and I'm awake and I'm seeing things. I'm like, whoa, I'm seeing that. And maybe somebody will witness me seeing what I'm seeing, and I'll be able to say, hang on, man, do you see that? I see that, you know. So that is somewhat personal and public, you know, but that is absolutely public. There's no disputing. Nobody can dispute. Anyone can dispute your vision. Anyone can dispute your dream, but no one can dispute an omen. It exists. So why I'm talking about this now is saying, let us extract the principle. We got this guy in the Bible. Remember, we talked about this as a parody. A man. We have God's people. Right? They disobey, get scattered. Right? Right? God promises to regather them. Promise. Right? But He doesn't show up. The God in the Bible doesn't show up. So let's go back to the Bible. He doesn't show up. Right? So God promises, so this is what happens. Israel, God's people, conquered by Babylon, and then Persia, and then Greece. Right? God promised to show up here. Doesn't show up in Persia, doesn't show up in Greece. And in Rome, that's the setting of the New Testament, Jesus shows up, and He is called the groom. And Jesus, the groom, promises to send the bride who will come in his name. So what is Jesus saying? Jesus is saying that he is with the bride and he will send the bride. And the bride will come in his name. So basically what Jesus is claiming is that the name of Jehovah is Jesus. So Jehovah, he will become, has decided to be called Jesus. So the coming son, this is what they call the coming son bride is called a son of a man. Right. So this is what happens in the story. Right. Jesus comes along in Rome way after God was supposed to come, conquer Babylon, and way after Babylon and Egypt has fallen, Rome is in power. And Jesus comes to the context in Rome and says, hang on, the Son of Man is coming imminently. Right. So this is very important. What was the characteristics of Jesus? Jesus came to do a couple of things. Right. If you read the story, Jesus says something. Right. Jesus called the groom. Yeah? His bride, the Son of Man, called the bride. And the Son of Man will come in his name. Right? So the name of Jesus is one principle. Right? The other thing, the characteristics. So Jesus claims that the characteristics that you see in him are the characteristics of the Son of the Man. Characteristics of Jesus are the characteristics of the coming Son of Man. So this is why Jesus says to his disciples, how do you ask me? Show us the Father. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So this is the irony about this story. This is why it's so difficult to understand. Is the fact that the Son of Man is actually the God of the Bible. Jesus is actually the Son. Right? So in the context of the story, when I read this as a kid, I'm like, is Jesus the Son saying that he's made God his bitch? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right? It's like, how does Jesus call God, the future coming God, Son of Man, his God? You see what is ironic? Not many people would understand this. That's not something that is taught in the doctrines. So the point of Jesus here was two things. Reveal the name of the coming King, of the coming Messiah. Number two, demonstrate, reveal the characteristics of the coming King. Right. And very important, he was saying that he is coming eminently. Meaning that his generation will see him. Right. So there's three things that Jesus does as the groom. Right? They call him the groom. And you see the references as the scriptural references I'm talking. Reveals the name of Jehovah. Jehovah, remember, is he will become. Reveals the characteristics of that Jehovah, that coming Son of Man, that will come like a bride. Why like a bride? Because that coming Son of Man will use his name. The same way a woman uses the name of the groom, the surname of the groom is the same way that the coming Son of Man will use the name of Jesus. And he is coming eminently, meaning that he is supposed to come like within his generation. So that's why he says to some of the disciples, I truly, 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 I tell you that some of you will not taste death until you see the King coming in power and in glory. Right. But here's the tragedy, like I said, this is literature. Literature meant to inspire somebody to understand the problem. So when you read the story, you realize that this was in year about 0 or maybe 30, somewhere between there, the time that Jesus lived. And now we in 20, goddamn 23, goddamn niggas, 2,000 motherfucking years. Right? Jesus said he was coming imminently. What the fuck? So the question is, clearly Jesus was lying. Right? But somebody will be like, no, he wasn't lying, because the principle is to get at the groom, that to save God's people that have rejected his ways, right? He will send a groom, and this groom will reveal the name of the coming king, reveal the characteristics of the coming king, and he will disclose and declare that the coming king is coming eminently. So those that are alive will see his day, will see the day where he arrives. So that is the characteristics. So the fact that Jesus has not come in 2,000 years points out the fact that this is a story meant to inspire. So there is somebody like this. So there is somebody of this nature that is meant to appear. And I think this is what I'm going to end it here and say, like, now that we see that Jesus said all of these things, but he didn't show up, this is meant to inspire somebody. Somebody has to be that guy. Because clearly, I can't sit here and hope that, like the Christians believe that Jesus is going to come back, or this coming Son of Man will show up. It's 2,000 later. He already lied by the fact that he said that the generation that he was living in will see him. So, we're jumping into it. Awesome.